Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of Transcend, the Thinking Christian talk show, where we are unlocking truth, transcending lives. This week, we have a hot topic. Yeah, I said it, a hot topic. And I have two of my sisters, my friends, might I even say besties, accomplished women of God. They were brought up in the church. They have done it and achieved it secularly, educationally, you name it. They are workers in the kingdom and they are successful women. And they will be helping us this week to dissect the very important topic of what a girl wants. So this week we have the lovely Miss Charice Smith and Olivia Carter on right here on Transcend. Olivia, Charice, welcome.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
I'm so excited, guys, because as I said before, these are my girls, my friends. We are happy that you accepted the invitation to come on to dissect this critical, very important topic.
Hope we can do it justice.
You will.
But it's simple. What a girl wants. But just before we jump into it, just give us a brief background. Olivia, starting with you.
I've been saved for maybe 25 years. I was baptized and filled at the age of 7. So I've been in church all my life, sleep on bench, the altar service, youth ministry, organizational leadership and other responsibilities. So I've been in and around church for forever. So,
Wow.
yeah.
What's your career? Tell our audience.
I'm a teacher by profession and I currently teach at the college level.
Wow. Miss Professor.
To make sure I'm grammatically correct.
I hope I am too.
Charice, tell us about yourself, your background.
Okay, I have been born and raised in the church.
Yep.
I was baptized at 8 years old, filled with Holy Ghost at 10. My career right now is I'm an administrator for a real estate company. I'm actually the lead administrator. I also have my own production company that I'm currently getting off the ground. I also work as a foster care family support worker sometimes. I just wear many hats. I do many things wherever I can fulfill a passion or a need. That's where I'm at.
I told you, Transcenders, that we have accomplished women on the show.
Goodness.
Like,
The pressure.
really accomplished. But, that's why their opinion on this particular subject is so critical. So let's jump straight into it. Seeing that, we have heard a brief background. What Olivia and Charice? And seeing that I started with Olivia first, let me start with Charice this time.
Okay,
Charice, tell us,
telling you.
what are the qualities that young women in church, working professional women in church, educated women in church,
My God.
beautiful women in church,
Wow. Okay.
what are the qualities that they are looking for
Okay.
in a potential spouse?
Okay, well, I can't answer for everybody,
Every
because I think everybody's standards are different. I also feel like based off of who my parents are, that also adjusts the standard for what I'm looking for or what people would assume I'm looking for. But in my case, I really want someone that's motivated, someone that is passionate, someone that has a relationship with God, is active in their church, because I'm very active in my church. That takes up most of my time.
Yeah.
I'm at work and I'm doing stuff for church.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand that passion and that drive to do things for the church, do things for God as a service, that servitude part is really important to me. And also family characteristics, that's a big thing. You have to have a good family dynamic. But I'm just gonna go with that as a baseline,
That's a good baseline.
Yeah.
That's a good baseline.
You hear what Charice said. servitude.
Yeah.
Critical.
Yes.
So, Olivia, same question. What are young women in church looking for? What?
I could build on a lot of what Charice has said. Those are all elements that I'm looking for. There are so many women in church. I can't speak for all of them, as Charice has said. So definitely someone who's really devoted to their faith, not just a church-going person for me. Because if I'm a part of an assembly, I'm a part of the assembly, you know? So I don't want to be in a situation where I'm at church and he's in the car honking his horn saying he's ready to go home Sunday dinner time. I'm not like
Sunday dinner time. Wow.
But you know, someone who's really the sacrifices that I have made and I will continue to make for the kingdom of God, it can't be a problem in our marriage, you know, or in our relationship, in our marriage. He can see it. For example, if God tells us to get up and go to this place to live and serve, he would be someone who can understand that, you know, that this is a woman who wants to be in God's will. So he has to be a man walking in alignment with God, because I want to be submitted to him, you know, and submission comes easier when, as I've seen it exemplified by our leaders, it comes easier when that man is really in submission to God. And I think I can trust him to love me more if he's submitted to God. An ambitious person, because I'm very driven, you know, so someone who can see potential in something that seems ridiculous. You know, I've taken risks in my own life, and some risks that would drive the average person crazy, but I need a partner who can help me to look at the decisions that I'm about to make and help me along that journey, and I can do the same for him. Say, okay, maybe you probably shouldn't invest in this because I've read this, I know this information. Someone I can learn from, and that can learn from me. A smart man would be nice. Is that too much?
But
2023?
But I mean, surely though, the question must be asked. Does that type of man exist in church, in the 21st century church today, Charice?
I think they do, but I think it's very few. Very few. I can't speak as to why that is, but you find that it's a lot harder nowadays for women to get married, right? Either there's a lot of brothers in the church and they're not ready to settle down. You know, they still feel like they need to go out and explore all that they need to explore. The maturity level may not be there. I don't know, maybe they don't think that they see anybody within the church circles that they're connected to. But if they are there, it's very few.
But because we have asked the question here on Transcend. We have asked few guys and we wanted to get a feedback. And they're saying that the issue is that the young ladies in church, they think that they are above or maybe are better than them because of the accomplishments that they have. For example, in your case, Charice, and in Olivia's case, you are somebody that one would consider as a very, very successful young lady.
Okay.
You wear multiple hats. You're educated with a college degree. You have done it all. You're working for a real estate company. The average young man in church, they're not that accomplished. So
Who's that? Not to cut you or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person where I'm gonna look at all of how much money you make. It would be nice to know you make a good amount of money. However, a lot of it is just perception. You perceive that this is how I think. You perceive that this is my opinion of you without even having a conversation with me, right? Also, a lot of the times, women don't want to approach men to say, oh, I'm actually, as much as I wear this hat, like, I don't really care about those things because I'm not supposed to be chasing you. You're supposed to come to me. You're supposed to have a conversation with me. Then from that conversation, you can find out, oh, she's really like easygoing, and she's not as intimidating as she may seem.
Olivia, let's just pick up on what Charice just said. Don't you think it's legitimate for these young men to feel intimidated by your success? Come on, surely this is a real topic. You have to be true. You have to be real. Come on.
Okay. The first thing I would say is, coming from Jamaica, 40% of the church population, and probably less, would be men. So you have more women than men in church. And that's for many reasons. One such reason cited is that Christianity is kind of a feminine thing in Jamaica, and so you find that there are more women in church than men. I don't know that much about the Canadian setting, but that's the first issue. And the qualified men, or what you'd say, okay, the qualified men, they're very quickly taken by other women, right? So that's one. But at the same time, as Charice said, if a person, I've been, as I said, in church for a long time, and I've been told that I am not approached because I look a certain way or act a certain way. And you know what? My experience has taught me, the moment I compromised on those standards or that person, I ended up getting hurt, because the standards are there for a reason. The standards are there to protect you. The standards are there to keep your heart, basically, to guard your heart. And sometimes you quote unquote, give a guy a chance, and you end up being disappointed because the very things that you valued and upheld, and you say, okay, let's see how he handles this, how he handles your vision, how he handles you as a woman, you're mishandled. So then no, it reaffirms my standards. Sometimes it's better, okay, fine, if you think that I'm out of your league, I'm sorry, I can't do anything else but be who I'm called to be. I cannot not go to school, I cannot pursue a master's because you think that what she's studying for. Because at this age, I'm very sure of who I am in God. At 25, I wasn't so sure. At 26, I wasn't. But now I know I'm supposed to be an educated woman. I'm supposed to be a go-getter. I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. I'm supposed to write books. So if you're going to partner with me, you are supposed to see that in me and nurture it. Every woman has that. And so you, as her partner, you've been given a garden. And if you cannot nurture that garden, don't throw stones at the garden and say you shouldn't be a garden. You can't do it, leave the garden alone. Somebody else will do it. But the
issue though, Olivia and Charice, is that don't you think you need to slow? You're in a church, and as you presented the stats just now, 40% of the church population, they're men, which leaves. I don't know, but let's be real. Let's be real. Yeah, but 40% of the church population, they're men, which means that women are the majority, all right? And which means then that women have fewer options to choose. So don't you think then, Charice and Olivia, you need to slow your roll a little bit, slow your success,
absolutely,
so that the men can catch up with you.
Ladies,
so you want me to be miserable?
Yes, and don't negotiate yourself out of your own happiness. For me,
the standard's too high.
Do not negotiate yourself out of your own happiness. I'm not here to bash men. I think there are a lot of men who are, I do empathize that, I'm so sorry, I'm not qualified, I don't have the degree, I don't have that. But it's not even about a degree anyway. I'm very, very convicted in this. And Jesus taught us, what is in your hand? What do you have in your hand? Do it. whether it is that you have a talent, a skill, I guess that's the line you're going along in terms of the economics of things.
Well,
Yeah?
but the truth is, we can be here and we are having
Yeah.
a discussion and we are
Yeah.
playing all nice and dandy.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, Olivia, you being a teacher, a professor teaching college students, Charice, you being this big real estate administrator. Be honest, you don't want any little man that is working under a car, coming out greasy and
I actually have no problem.
I don't
with
have
that.
a problem. See,
don't
that's
have
the
a
thing.
problem
That
with
is the
that.
perception.
Yeah,
You see, for
perception.
me, as I said, I want an intelligent man, an educated man. So today, and I want a builder. So today you might be under a car, but I would prefer that you don't stay under a car forever.
the problem is that though the women always be saying these things.
But
And their actions is something else.
No, but I'm not going to be a teacher in the classroom forever. I'm not. My goal is to do this until I get to this, until I get to this, because my desire is to have generational wealth
So
for my
you want
children.
someone that's always evolving.
So I want someone, because I'm not the person I was 25. So at 25, so if that is the problem. So a man might look at me and say, she looks this way because I'm choosing to evolve, because I'm choosing to grow, because I'm choosing to, these things have been etched in my mind since I was a child. This is what you're supposed to do. You
That's the
grow and
mindset that
evolve.
you have.
Alright,
Because
so
for
let-
me
yeah.
now, when it comes to mindset, like people are like, "Oh, Charice, you already accomplished this. Why are you moving on to something else?" They're like, "You're
I'm
not
not,
taking
you
time to
know.
bask in it." I'm like, "No, I'm grateful for what I've accomplished,
Yeah.
but now that I've done that, I'm moving on to something else." And if
Yeah.
you can't understand that mindset, then we can't align,
No.
right? And
Settled
you really,
water starts stinking after a while.
like you have to really just find somebody that, or they have to find you, you know, that has the same mindset, right? And the minute you are aligned with somebody that does not have the same mindset, that does not have the same goals, like that is not forward thinking the way you are, then you're gonna always feel like you're holding yourself back or you're pushing somebody to be something that
That's
they're
it.
not.
That's
And
it.
I refuse to be in relationships
person.
where I have to push people to be something. If you're not secure in yourself as a man, then don't come and talk to me. That's just
Yeah.
it. You know, and it's no disrespect. It's
true.
not,
It's true.
right? Like the same way some guys would want a confident woman,
Yeah.
right? They don't want someone that is, you know, full of ego or anything or talk down to them, right? That's their preference.
Yeah.
My preference is to have somebody that is secure enough in themselves that when they see me doing something, they are encouraging
go.
me and not tearing me down.
Yeah, and they don't feel threatened by what you're doing, because that's another thing. Why aren't women choosing the guy? Because a lot of times women who choose those guys who are at, I don't want to, stigmatize any level, but you end up in a situation where that person now starts to see you as competition, or that person starts to say, why are you going so hard? Or you think you're the man in the relationship, and what, So and I don't believe that you're going to you will find a well-made man, right? But the man has to have the soil and the necessary tools that you would need to build.
Ooh.
So
That's a word right there.
I know the kind of person that I am, and I think we need to examine our friendships. In my friendships, in my family, I am a builder. That's what I do. If you're my friend, there is a risk, and so do not devalue your friendships. As a single woman, don't devalue your friendships. When you look at the kind of people you have in your circle, it's an indication of the kind of partner you will have. I'm not married, but I just think that is how it is. My friends, as a matter of fact, when I was going to Japan, it was my best friend who emailed me the application and said, girl, you should try this. I tried, I went, and I lived for 8 years. For her, I would email her stuff and say, girl, you should try this. And so those are my closest folks, the people who would say, go and try that, do that. I think you have the ability.
They're trying to help you build.
They're trying to
Yeah.
help me build. And so if I'm partnered with someone, it must be that same alignment. It's not going to work because you're going to become frustrated. The married women die faster than single women. You know why? Because of that very thing. You're constantly pushing that person, as opposed to...
Really?
That statistics show that married women die faster than single
Wow.
women. Long life. right? So it means then that if I'm going to give up my long life for this, it must be worth it.
This is the problem, because just by you and Charice are here and expressing yourself, the average guy would be listening to you now and would immediately back off and say, wow.
Then he's not the guy for me.
No, so let me ask you a question then, Charice.
Ask me the question.
You, Charice Smith.
Yes.
That you wear multiple hats. You're the media director for one of the the fastest growing church in Toronto.
Yes.
You are Bishop and Lady Smith's daughter. You have accomplished it all. You would take up a man in church that can't even read and write his name? Tell our viewers.
Did God send him to me?
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, I'm talking about you.
I am talking about me, right? Because for me now, like if we go back to what I said, okay, I have a preference. If God is now saying, okay, this is the person for you, and it's outside of my preference, then that means that there is something within that connection that God has ordained, that He foresees, right? But if that's not the case, for now, this is my preference. Like, and God has to come and talk to me. He has to go talk to Bishop. He going to have to talk to First Lady, because again, there is that alignment that I have. Now, let's say this person can't read, can't write, but they are good with their hands. They're a hard worker, right? They're determined. Okay, they want to learn how to read and write. They just weren't provided the opportunity.
As opposed to just saying, I can't read and write.
Exactly, and I don't care. You know, there are some people where it's like, I don't have this skill set, but I want this skill set. And do what they can to educate themselves, to get more. That's the type of person that many women want. It's not the fact that, you know, they can't read or write, but it's what are you doing about it?
Because we're not at our highest selves
Exactly.
either. You might say, okay, Olivia's an accomplished woman.
You're not at your highest self?
I am
No,
not.
I am not. That I am nowhere.
Wow.
And I say I am nowhere where I'm supposed to be or where I'm envisioning myself. So if someone, a gentleman, sees me and says, oh, she's too high for me. Well, my brother, I challenge you. I hereby say, what's the date today? I am nowhere where I've seen myself in my prayer life, in my fasting, in my ministry. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So if you're already threatened by this level, we're in trouble.
But what do you say? What do you say, both of you, to young men in church that they have the ambition, they have even the drive, but they just don't. They lack the opportunity or the tools to get the job done. But what do you say to them? And because they'll say to you that females in church, sisters in church, they talk a good talk. But their actions are totally different. I give you an example. I remember when I was in the dating world. And
Talk about it.
I'm just saying. but I'm just saying, when I was in the dating world, there was this one particular sister that said, you know, she's willing to work with anybody, and she was well accomplished, willing to work with anybody, and I liked her because, you know,
You said with anybody?
she's willing to work with somebody from them, have the ambition and the drive.
Okay.
So I say, okay, I have the ambition and the drive, plus she's pretty, she's beautiful.
That's right.
So I approached her, and she immediately turned me down. And she turned me down because I was lacking the degrees, I was lacking the accolades and all of that. My wife, on the opposite hand, she has a degree. When I met her, she already went through university, but she gave this little boy with no degree. She gave me a shot,
And I'll go after
and she gave me a shot, and today she built me to the point where. You know, I finished university, I have a master's degree, moving on to a PhD.
I love that.
She did that.
Yeah.
But she wasn't just talking the talk.
But were you an educated man?
But not even just that. He answered his
'cause-
own question
yeah,
because he
yeah.
said that this sister said one thing and did another thing.
Yes.
But this other sister now said it and meant it.
But the vast majority.
Have you spoke to the vast majority?
I'm just saying what
My
the young men
goodness.
they're saying. We have done the survey. We asked the question.
You
They're
did?
saying
With everyone?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, not everyone,
But you know what I think? I think for me, I am not after necessarily a degree. I want an educated man.
What does that mean?
That means you will pay for the course online. That means you will get the mentors. That means you will go where you need to, where you can learn, where you can grow. Because I've dated someone. The person didn't have a degree, didn't work out for whatever reason. None of my business today. Right? And the person didn't have a degree.
Yes.
But the person was so educated. And I learned so much from the person. The person spent $2,000 doing different online courses on investing and stuff. That is personally what I like. You understand? So, and I don't care if the person went to university, because with the information he has, he's building.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that was just a short-sightedness on that person's,
There's
on
also
that
different
lady's
levels
side.
of education.
Right? Because many of us who've gone to school and have had the degrees, you know, if you're not using the degree properly, you're gonna be broke anyway. So for me, it's not about a degree. A degree to me proves that you know how to meet deadlines, you know how to follow through, you know how to, you know, work with groups and teams and all of that. So that's what it would prove to me. But at the same time, you can demonstrate that by, you know, educating yourself through other means. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it doesn't matter.
All right, so question, Charice. But let me ask you though, like a young man in church, for example, that is not he doesn't possess the quality, not the qualities, but the requirements that you have, or that you have stated here on the show. But him see you, he's in love with you. Matter of fact, he's drawn to you. He likes you, and say for example, he approach you. What do you do? Do you send him to go and get qualified and come back, or do you see where it goes and give it a shot? But tell us, what would you do?
You said that he's in love with me?
Well, he might, he sees you from afar, and maybe, there's something pulling him to you.
Because for me, I have seen it one too many times that, love is not enough. Like, that can't be it, right? Infatuation, like, that can't be it.
That's true.
Because
That's true.
there's so many things that go into a relationship, right? And even I have my parents as good examples, but I also have friendships that are such tight bonds, and it goes beyond me just saying, hey, I love my best friend. Anyone that knows, my best friend is Tiffany, and I love her. But there are so many other things, communication pieces. Okay, drive. Are we encouraging when one is, feeling lower? What is the other person doing to, balance it out? It goes beyond just saying I love you, or oh, I like you, or I want to be around you. That's just not substance enough, right?
An expression of interest does not necessarily equate to the urgency on my part to say, okay, he likes me, and I need to pursue this. You expressed an interest, fine. Everybody interested. You understand? But I'm at the stage where that doesn't suffice anymore, because my time is very important to me. So you're interested, we text, we talk, we text, we talk, we text, we talk, we text, we talk for a whole year. You're interested. Take your interest and go to bed. You get me?
Oh my God, take your interest and go to bed.
It's not, because a lot of times we think that, and this thought came to me, and I was thinking about this conversation this morning, that because we're in a culture of marriage, we automatically think that because someone is interested and they're spending time with you, it's going to lead to marriage.
Yep.
And that's how a number of us, young ladies, get hurt, because we think that because he's interested and he's spending time with me, he's going to marry me, because we're in a culture that is about marriage, right?
But shouldn't it
should
be that way?
But that's why I'm saying interest and love aren't enough. what does that interest lead you to do? Right? Does it lead you to go and get godly counsel? Does your interest cause you to pray about it? Does your interest cause you to declare that these are your intentions? Your interest means nothing to me unless it is backed by the due diligence.
I love that.
Approaching pastor, praying about it, like seriously praying about it, right? And hearing the voice of God, getting counsel on it, getting men around you to guide you what dating is or courting is supposed to look like.
Yeah, we don't
The
talk
number
enough
of
about
men
that.
don't know how to do it, right? You being around me talking, like at this stage, it means nothing to me. If you are just always being my friend, which is why a lot of times we end up in situationships, not realizing that we're in relationships.
Situationships.
Yeah.
Because you're spending time with the person, your time means nothing if it hasn't been declared. I don't belong to you.
Yep. And they think that you do.
That
though.
you do. I don't.
Yeah,
you know.
they do. They think that.
No, we're friends, and I'm very much available. I'm on the market
Wow.
until I'm off. Until I'm married, I'm at the altar, and my pastors and the bishop have declared me Mrs. What so and so. I'm very much single. I don't belong to you.
But surely though,
That's
don't
why
you
he says we're too assertive.
She turned. I'm like, yes.
that's a girl moment right there. But surely though, don't you think that you guys put the females, women, sisters in church put the guys under too much pressure when it comes to this dating thing? They have to do this, they have to walk, it's just a stringent line to walk. Don't you too much pressure, don't you think?
The Bible says he that finds a wife finds a good thing. And we see ourselves as wives. It's not when I get to the altar that I'm a wife.
Yeah.
I'm a wife. And if you value me that much, you will. Sometimes I hear the amazing love stories of, and everybody's story is different and unique to their situation and relationship. But I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when you shared the Hughes' story.
Yeah.
What he went through to get her to come to Canada.
Yeah.
And that might not be my story, but it goes to show that when a man is interested, he will do all that he needs to do to make, and that is just the beginning. So if he's not willing to do that in the dating stage, if he's not willing to make those sacrifices while he's dating me, what do I have to look forward to when we're married? When I now have to submit to him no matter what. You have to, like when you're employing someone in a company, you look at the credentials. So isn't it fair for me as a woman? This is a job that a lifetime job that I'm taking you on for. And if you can't do the bare minimum, for a job you need a degree, you need to go to university, study for 4 years, get the work experience to be able to become a manager or CEO or whatever. You're going to be the manager of a partner in my company.
Yeah. And
So
they
I
have
have to
their
do what
own
I need to-
preferences too.
Yeah,
they have
their
their
own
list.
preference.
They have the things that they're
Yeah.
looking for that they want. So why is it wrong that we have ours?
Yeah. But I get what you're
Yes, you
saying.
get
I get what you're saying. I totally understand. But again, another talking point for the young men is that when women are very successful, when sisters, they would have accomplished great things both spiritually, ministerially, and secularly. They're saying when a woman is that successful, it's very difficult.
All things are possible to
Very
them that believe.
difficult to submit.
Oh, I see.
Very difficult.
You think so?
Yeah, well,
Is he
I would-
someone worth submitting to?
Please do explain.
I just want to know. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's all about how you carry yourself, right? I was just talking to another couple recently, and the husband was saying, yeah, my wife makes more money than me, and I have no problem with it. right? She manages the finances, and I'm okay with that, and I'm secure enough in my role, in my position as the man in this relationship. He's like, she has more degrees than I do. And he was unfazed by it, right? She says, he does most of the cooking because she's not a good cook. And they were okay with how their dynamics are, right? But he's secure enough in himself. If he's not secure, if he is not confident in himself, if he is if that's the case, then why are we having a conversation?
But let me ask you something, a follow-up question, then, Charice. Are you saying then a man that cannot read, maybe cannot even write?
I'll go back to reading.
No, I'm going to put all the negatives in there.
Okay, that's negative.
Yeah, that would do, and that's a negative. But cannot read, cannot write.
Yeah.
Maybe you name it. He has all the challenges in the world. You, Charice, you're saying that as long as he's confident and he is he's bold in himself and he's confident in he's reassuring the fact that, hey, I'm a man, even though he has all these things going against him, you would give him a shot?
I've also said throughout this conversation that he has to be driven. I said that he has to be working towards something. He has to have the mindset of, okay, I may not have this education, I may not be able to read or write, but this is what I'm going to do in order to get it done. So it's not just one thing. The same way that the men have their criterias for women. Oh, I like a shorter woman, I like a slimmer woman. Okay, I like a heavier set woman. I like this aspect of her body, or I want her to be able to do this or do that, or to cook and to clean and to bear children and this and that. It's the same thing, is it not?
I would assume so.
I would assume, yes. So for me, it's just like, I feel like what I'm asking for is, it's not unrealistic. I feel like there are people out there that are able to do that. Now, the other thing too is that there's a lot of men, this is kind of switching it a bit, but there's a lot of men that say, okay, I want to settle down, I want to get married, however, I don't have everything in place, and I want things to be in place before I get married, right? I've heard it a lot from some of my guy friends, where it's like, I want to have a certain amount of money in my bank account. I want to be able to afford this.
But does that matter to you? Or does that matter? Like,
It depends. I'm going to be honest. It depends. You don't have a lot of money probably because you just invested. You don't have a lot of money because you just finished your degree. You don't have a lot of money because you are doing something. But it can't be, I'm dead serious, it can't be a situation where you're 30 years old, you don't have a lot of money, and there's nothing to show as to why you don't have a lot of money.
But one would argue that maybe he just needs the right motivation from the right woman.
That's not fair. That's
No, come on, man.
No, but
the Bible says, come on, Olivia, man. Because we're talking to real people here.
Sure.
The Bible says that the wise woman buildeth her house. Okay. So the wise woman is a builder. Yes. Why can't you build some motivation in that man?
The wise woman builded her house. There was a house before. So I'm not saying that I can't build, but there needs to be something to build with, right? I'm not going to be responsible on my end. I have to be wise, right? I have to be wise. I'm not going to be just saying, okay, it's not a charity case in terms of anybody who comes and I'm just being honest.
You hear what she says? It's not a charity case.
I'm being honest. You are broke. There's a reason. I've been broke in my life too. I'm not wealthy, right? I'm not rich. So as I said, somebody might pick me up and I don't have all that I need to have as a woman. But one, I'm very much willing to grow. I'm very much evolving, right? And I actually really, the question was about submission earlier. I'm looking forward to submitting to my husband. I'm really looking forward to, but I have to be careful who that man is because I really want to submit to him. So if he does not have the qualifications necessary, and it's not just about financial qualification, the spiritual qualification, I want the man who will call devotion in the morning and say, let us pray. I want the man who, when I have something that I'm going after, or I come in and he calls me and prays. So it's not just about the financial side of it.
But
there are all these aspects that come into it. So if he's just broke, living with his mom at 30, nothing going on in his life, nothing to do, no dreams, no aspirations, I mean nothing. I'm not God now, let there be light.
The thing is, you said that we can put the motivation into them. I don't believe in that. I really don't. Because if you can't do something for yourself, if you cannot take care of yourself, how are you supposed to take care of me?
And if children, when they come along.
You know, if I can't take care of myself, if I can't wake up in the morning and say, all right, my teeth need to brush. You know, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me you need to brush your teeth. Like that.
But I don't think, Charice, that's fair. Because
and I want, just before that, I want to qualify living with your mama, because you might be living with your mom, which is fine. And in this day and age, sometimes it's the best decision. But at least living with your mom, you're contributing to bills. You know, you are doing something in the house.
Must be responsible.
Right. So you will choose a responsible man. And I think it's just in the 21st century that we've made marriage and relationships a romantic thing. Before, men had to come qualified before their fathers of girls handed them over to these men.
True.
It's only today that it became a situation where
I love it.
it wasn't always like that. You understand? Before a father said, okay, I trust you to take care of my daughter, he had to, the men, whether there was a father or an elder brother, or the man in the family would say, yeah, this is what you need to do before I can say, here's my daughter. So this day and age where we're like, it's all about romance, and it's about, you know, especially in Jamaica, the Jamaican woman building up the man. And as I said, you have to have the foundation before I can help you. I can help
but
you
I can't
build, because it's a ministry.
Yeah,
we're building each other, but there must be something.
But I want to just go back a little bit to what Charice just said. Because I think that's a fair statement. I know you said you don't believe that a woman can put motivation into a man. But I beg to differ, because many things that I have done in my life as a fully grown adult man, many things that I have achieved is my wife said to me, baby, she was a motivation behind me. Baby, you can do this. Baby, you can do that. So surely.
She's helping motivate you. She's not putting motivation in you.
And she knew that you can, because she's seen the fruit of your labor. There has been evidence
of you being motivated for things.
There's something to work with. It's not just and it comes also through the Holy Spirit, right? The revelation of the Holy Ghost. Because if you are praying over this man and God, that God has given you to, yes, as I said, it's a ministry. We are not finished products on the market. I'm becoming. And whoever I meet, whoever Charice meets, he's also becoming. But God will reveal to you, say, yes, this is the man, because this is what I put into him, and this is how you are both going to work together to bring about my purpose and to allow my kingdom to come on earth. You understand? There was something that Sandy saw in you for her to say, yeah, you can do this. Just as my friends did to me. There's something to work with.
My good looks play a part.
All right.
But how can Christian girls, not girls, but Christian women, navigate their personal desire versus God's will for their lives? How can they balance the two? Is there even a perfect?
You know, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it out loud.
What was that, Shirley?
When your heart gets broken enough,
you
will do it.
When you have a plan and you know you have this thing and you're like, okay, this is what it's gonna be, and God never tell you that's what it was gonna be, and you still try to go for that thing, and when it mash up right in front of your face, then you'll figure it out. At that point, you'll be able to navigate it.
Wow.
Because I'm at this place now where I've done it my way, so and it's a very, very prominent prayer point in my prayer, as prayer point. I'm always, because I've done it wrong enough to know that the only way to do it right is with God.
Yeah.
Right? And like I've literally gone back to God with my heart and say, you know what? It mash up, but here it is. Because you try to look at the qualifications, you try to look at all these things and with the natural eyes, and the only way to do it, only God knows our heart, and only He. I think of us as young ladies, as flowers in His garden, and only He knows the person who's going to nurture that and who's going to take care of that, which is why He says we should guard our hearts with all diligence, because out of it the issues of life flow. And so when a girl is being picky, don't be hard on her. She's trying to guard her heart. And if you are not equipped, if you're not the one sent to handle it, leave her alone. If you're not the one who's been assigned to it, and which is why I said it would be revealed to you through prayer, through mentorship, through counsel, leave her alone. Don't just go and try a thing. Leave her alone.
Join us next week for part 2 of What a Girl Wants with your host, Lennox Brown Jr., and guests Charice Smith and Olivia Carter, where they will share their thoughts on the domestic requirements a man wants, thoughts on a mama's boy, and some other taboo topics. This is Transcend, your thinking Christian talk show, unlocking truth, transcending lives. Please remember to like, share, subscribe,